pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the opportunity to serve the students and citizens of Pendleton County. And we are so glad of the teachers and coaches we have that produce such fine young people in academics and athletics. We wish everybody a warm and safe summer, and we hope to see everybody back in the fall. Amen.
Amen.
Public comment? None. Nobody? Unless you folks get public comment? All right. Student staff recognition.
So we asked Abby to come up here. We had two winners for the Golden Horseshoe this year. Abby was one of our winners, and she will be recognized at the Capitol next Tuesday, right? And so part of the test that she had a written part where she had to actually write something, I believe, right? And then she actually had another test that she had to do. So there was two components to the test that she had to complete in order to be our county winner for this year. And our county gets two winners. Our other winner was Isabella Jameson, I believe. Is that right? And she wasn't able to be with us tonight, but we want to congratulate you on your success. And we've got a little certificate here.
Travis, you want to take her out with the board real quick out in the hall and get a picture? Yeah, we'll try to get that in the paper for her. Paper guy's usually here, but he's must be taking pictures somewhere else.
I wonder if he's down with baseball. He wouldn't be down there for us. Oh, well, maybe.
He could be from Moorfield or East Hardy. Are they there?
Baby?
Yeah, but not so much baby.
No, not. He might be down for us.
He doesn't. Does he cover, don't the other guy cover East Hardy County?
He covers the Hardy County paper too.
Yeah, he's got a little more help down there, but he does help put the paper together down there.
Get a good picture of him. See if we can get that in paper.
They let him editorialize down there.
I see that. We wrote a pretty long editorial, the one, on cutting spending.
Next on the agenda is the minutes of the May 20th, 25 board meeting. Everybody had a chance to look at them. Any additions, corrections, deletions to the minutes? Hearing none, a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Personnel.
First item is resignation, retirements, and that's Janice Hebner, resignation from the 504 SAT coordinator at Pendleton County Middle High School.
You have my recommendation to approve the resignation of Janice Ebner from the 504 SAT coordinator at Pendleton County Middle High School.
We have a superintendent's recommendation. We have a motion on that.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise, motion carried. And now we'll need to go to executive session.
You have my recommendation to go into a short executive session under 69A-4, subsection 3.
All right, we have a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Have a motion, second, further discussion? Hearing none, we're in executive session.
So our second Golden Horseshoe winner just came in a little late, but we want to recognize her also, and I'll turn that over to Mr. Travis Evans.
So Isabella was our second Golden Horseshoe test winner, and she took both components of the test and scored high enough to be one of our winners, and she'll be recognized next Tuesday in Charleston to get her official Golden Horseshoe, and we would like to congratulate you on your recent win there. So
Congratulations. And Mr. Mary had pulled up earlier, but you can go on the website and he can show you if you need to. And you can look up every Golden Horseshoe winner from Pendleton County from 1935. Your name will be on that list, and that list is out there forever. So you're going to be on there and be recognized from now on. It goes all the way back to the 1930s. It shows every single Golden Horseshoe winner in Pendleton County history. You will be on that list of distinguished people.
Congratulations, quite an honor.
Yes.
You get down with all the other kids across the state, it'll be quite an honor.
Yes.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Thank you for coming. Be
thanks for
careful.
coming.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Now, since you won, you have to stay for the rest of the board meeting.
That's not true. That would not be an award.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a
you
good
guys.
summer.
Thank
Yes.
you. Enjoy your summer. Thank you all very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
So we're back to personnel. Under personnel, you need a motion to come out of executive session.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna make a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye. Opposed, likewise. We are now out of executive session.
Note in the executive session, no action was taken. Now, under proposed suspension of service personnel, I recommend suspension without pay for Diane Redmond based on the agreement reached with the employee.
Have superintendent's recommendation. We have a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye. Opposed, likewise. Motion carried.
Okay. Item C, permission to post 2 Energy Express bus drivers, a middle school golf coach, a middle school wrestling coach, and a high school assistant cross-country coach.
Yep, your recommendation.
And you have my recommendation to post, for permission to post as listed.
Superintendent recommends that we post these jobs. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and
We're
a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye. Opposed, likewise. Motion carries.
Before we get to employment of personnel, please note in the minutes that Mrs. Betty Kimball recused herself from the room.
Okay, recommendations for hire, Tanner Carr for a long-term 5th grade teacher at North Fork Elementary School. Robin Simmons, long-term preschool special needs teacher at Franklin Elementary School. Monica Smith, itinerant aide with autism mentor and CPI certification at Brandywine Elementary School. Gwen Colley, summer credit recovery at Franklin Elementary School. And James Wood, extracurricular assistant wrestling coach at Pendleton County Middle High School. And, sorry, I almost missed one. Dave Eason, extracurricular high school girls assistant basketball coach at Pendleton County Middle High School.
You have my recommendation for employment of personnel as presented.
Have superintendent's recommendation to employ the personnel as listed. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye. Opposed, likewise. Motion carries. Dream team is back. Travis? Travis, dream team back?
it for
That's
personnel?
it. Yeah, everything else is.
Okay.
Okay, we move on to finance, Mr. Mallory.
Okay, under number 7, finance, I will start with bills for approval for the month that just ended, May of 2025. I will start with some totals and highlights. If you have any questions, you can let me know. Total non-electronic bills for the month, $315, $367.17. Electronic, which means direct transfers, $301, $927.11. The May total, $617, $294.28. On that page there, it is the renewal of our Board of Risk, Liability, and Property Insurance. That is a quarterly payment. So it is up over $160,000 combined for the 4 quarters. That is up about $15,000 from the current year. This is a prepayment for next year, which will be reflected on financial statements, but across the state, other school boards are seeing those increases as well. We are part of a premium risk pool, so it's all kind of pulled together. I do believe any claims that we have affect us to a certain degree, but not as much as one might think, because we're in a large pool together. A lot of the different settlements and insurance payouts across the state are more causation of this increase over the past couple of years than anything in Pendleton County, but that's a quarterly payment, liability and property insurance. 2 rounds of bills were paid towards the April and May. So the one did not have the high school in it. The high school was always $8,000 to $10,000 or so. So the $17,000 for all the locations and $27,000 for the locations is pretty much on target as far as those go. Higher than what I'd like for them to be, certainly, but pretty much on the target for what we've been seeing for those locations. We did have Mountain Air Heating and Cooling. Travis had told me a month or so ago we had quite a few repairs and issues that they took care of for us. That was $11,810. The audit, which we are required to have, obviously, we go out for 3-year bids. That was completed, reported on. We now paid it for $19,900. Not this summer, but next summer we'll go out again for a bid for a 3-year term on that. 1 more year for the auditors in that group. The food prices, again, Gordon Food Service, these should be winding down, of course, as the year comes to an end. They're paid through the credit card that we have through the state of West Virginia. We will have some summer food bills, of course, for the summer school program, but that, of course, will be combined with some funding from Energy Express. So this is some of the last payments. We'll have a few more payments left over for the end of May, getting billed in June, but those are some of the last ones for the food for the year. The next item of note, Brandywine asbestos removal. There was some desire for some work to be done on some windows and issues over there at Brandywine, but first we had to follow the proper procedure and make sure the asbestos was taken care of, and Travis followed up with that. So that's a payment for asbestos removal, and that's all the particular items that I have to point out or make note of. Back to the top page, total bills for the month. Fairly routine as far as number, $617, $294.28.
Guess we pay the bills.
Yes, you have my recommendation for paying the bills for May 2025.
Superintendent's recommendation that we pay the bills for May 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Budget revisions.
Okay, budget revisions. There are several here as we get close to the end of the fiscal year. So 7B, budget revisions. I think there's about 10 or so tonight, but I've condensed them down to 3 pages, so I'll just start. There's several grants that come in. $18,211, number 136, is a child nutrition grant that helps to reimburse the regular child nutrition program. It can be spent on purchases for the local foods, like the beef that were purchased. Local doesn't have to be Pendleton County, but in the surrounding area of West Virginia, like has been done in recent years. I think Teats had the contract for this year that can help to offset those costs. The next one, number 137, there was an equipment grant, a small equipment grant of $5689.75. That is being supplemented to the budget. Some small training grants. Travis works with training, Travis and Barb in different areas. So a social studies training grant for $4,000 as they get training on some of the curriculum material. 2 separate $4,000 grants, number 138 and number 139. Then there's a $70,000 grant, number 140, which I believe Dr. Lambert, the new high school principal, was instrumental in requesting from the Department of Ed, and I know he has some plans for that. I don't know all the details for that, so we're putting it into a reserve right now, and as time will go forward, we'll carry it over into next year. That grant will be utilized, $70,000. Number 141, Unite with Numeracy, another training grant that is going on to pay for hotel rooms, stipends, travel, that sort of things. $2,500, number 141. Number 142 through 144, when they gave us the final federal reductions, and we didn't get those grants until April, even though it's for this fiscal year, they reduced them slightly. Title I was reduced to $283.56, so from $270-some thousand, the $283.56 reduction. Number 143 for Title II reduced $32.37 out of about $40,000. Title IV out of about $20,000 was reduced $13.97. So those are actual reductions. $459.75 is tuition reimbursement. We have individuals or employees that qualify for tuition reimbursement. They can come through the state for some of that funding. This is a small amount, smaller than normal, but $459.75 for number 145 tuition reimbursement. So all those numbers total up to 105, 190, 40, but you subtract out the negative or reductions from the totals and actually reduce them out. That gives a total budget increase, budget revision from these supplements of 104, 530, 60. 104, 530, 60 are the total supplements for tonight's board meeting from 136 to 145.
You have my recommendation to approve budget revisions number 136 to number 145.
Superintendent has recommended the budget revisions. Do we have a motion?
So
moved.
Second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye. Opposed likewise. Motion carried.
Okay, year-end request for budget revisions is a routine year-end request asking the board for permission. It's addressed to JD, but it can be addressed to Sunny as well. It is just a request that we will have some budget revisions like we just had, and maybe some year-end transfers that will occur as we get closer to June 30. So rather than scheduling an extra meeting or meetings at the end of June, you have given permission, the board has, for a number of years to make any necessary budget revisions after June 17th, subject to superintendent approval, and those will be submitted to the state by the June 30th deadline. They will be presented to the board as information the first meeting in July. So that's another request, same request as in years past, for year-end budget revisions to be able to process those after June 17th, 2025.
I recommend all budget revisions posted at their June 17th, 2025 board meeting will be subject to approval of the superintendent. Copies of the budget revisions will be given to board members after the first board meeting in July for their information.
We have the superintendent's recommendation to take care of the budget entries that will be finished up in June. We will see them in July. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye. Opposed likewise.
7D, financial update, thank you. No handouts tonight. We continue to monitor year end. We did have pretty hefty payroll on June 3rd to be processed with some stipends and year end planning periods and things, but those were expected, and some large payroll taxes there. So we're still ending the year with some projects that we're working on. Some will carry over into next fiscal year. We still are on target to meet our year end forecast for year-end fund balance for this fiscal year, and then we'll get the fiscal year closed out by June 30 and rolled over for July 1st. So no handouts or information other than we are getting ramped up for fiscal year end for that.
Thank you. Thanks for all the hard work this fiscal year.
Yep.
All right, facility update.
All right, so just kind of give you an update on the Michael's building at North Fork. Sonny and I had to go over on Saturday morning and do a little repair work to our tarp. The wind had really taken it down, and so we reinforced it and I think made it better than we did the first time through. So I appreciate his help on Saturday for a couple hours. But Last Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday of last week, an adjuster person with Brim came in, and I walked him through the building. We took a lot of pictures, looked at the outside, looked at the inside, and the next step would be, once we do get some sort of a number put on that, I've got to send that information to him. And so I'm still working with trying to get a somewhat of a number to go on so that I can get back to them. And I just actually heard just a few minutes ago that they're going to come in again tomorrow to take a look at that building again. So hopefully we'll have some numbers to go on fairly soon. But they were in there yesterday and have moved everything out of the room, went through all the equipment that was in there to see if they could find any damages and stuff like that. And I think for the most part, most of the equipment and stuff is in pretty good shape. I think there was one instrument that she found was damaged, so we came out pretty good on that end. So we'll try to get that repaired and get back it up and going. And even with that being said, they looked at the building in total, and the structure and everything of the building is in good shape. So the gym, we'll have a letter from the engineer stating that the gym itself is sufficient to be able to get back into, but that room there will be off limits until we are able to get that repair work done. At Franklin Elementary, we are finishing up a painting project in the gym. It should be finished tomorrow morning, and then those same painters are going to the high school, and we're going to repaint all the exterior doors at the high school. And once that painting's done, then I've got some stickers and things like that has to go back on those doors for school safety, and so I'll get that taken care of as well. We do have a safety grant that I've mentioned several different times, so there's going to be some work occurring out there with some bollards going up in front of the front main entrance of the building. There'll be 3 bollards go in there, and then some security safety film that'll be on all the lower level windows. And so those are 2 things we're going to try to get accomplished here over the next couple months. So that's all I have really. That's kind of current. Y'all have any questions?
Painting all the exterior doors or just?
At the high school?
I think there was a few out there by the BOE building that
Yeah.
were pretty bad, so.
There are a lot of them, just the sun's faded them. I
Yeah.
think Mr. Hedrick said that they were painted at least once, I think.
Mr. Lambert was here when they were painted last.
Yeah.
Really?
So we're going to repaint all those, and I forget how many doors. I went around and counted them all. It's quite a few, but yeah, we're going to redo them all. So try to get that done, and then I can get my stickers put on there.
I haven't been in the locker room that football uses. We did some work though a year or 2 or so ago, didn't
Yeah,
they?
the floor was painted in there. The lockers were painted. The walls were painted, and so I've had them announce out there the last several days of the school year to make sure that all equipment and cleats and all that stuff gets taken out of the lockers. So we'll do I'll go through those lockers and box up the shoes and put them out front so they can pick them back up. But we're gonna get all that stuff cleaned out. We'll do a cleaning in there before football season starts back up. So.
How about your lockers in middle school? Was that project started yet? Or?
Yeah, so they are ordered, and I talked to the guy a few weeks ago, and he was wanting us to be able to stage them. So we are cleaning the middles. We're starting on the very farthest part of the building, and so Robert and his crew are starting over there waxing floors and stuff. So if those lockers do come here in a couple of weeks, we can stage them over there, and then they'll come in and they'll take out the old ones and put the new ones in. So he'd like to kind of have them on site, so whenever his guys are ready to come, they're ready to roll. So again, that's another one we hope that we can get done before the school year starts. So.
And don't forget to save a few doors that we can make one of those
Yeah.
practice things for the elementary schools.
Yeah.
Anybody have any other questions for Travis? Thank you, Travis.
Mm-hmm.
Old business, there's none. New business, annual approval of policy 2419, regulation for the education of students with accessibilities.
So every year we're required to approve policy 2419. It's a state board policy, we're required to follow it anyhow, but we are required to have in board action approving that. So I recommend approval of policy 2419, regulations for the education of students with exceptionalities.
Superintendent has recommended that we approve policy 2419. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye. Opposed
Aye.
likewise. MOU with Eastern WV CTC.
So this MOU is the MOU with Eastern that we do yearly. Basically, it's just an agreement with both us and them with they provide the dual credit and grow your own courses for some of our students at the high school.
You have my recommendation to approve the MOU with Eastern West Virginia Community Technical College.
Superintendent recommends that we approve the MOU with Eastern WV CTC. I have a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye. Opposed likewise. Motion carried. If it's okay, we're going to move the superintendent's evaluation to the end of our meeting. Is that okay with everybody? All right. School improvement, student achievement.
I don't have a lot to cover on this one for tonight. As JP mentioned earlier, we did get a small grant for coverage for travel and training coming up next week in Charleston for Unite for Numeracy. We have a small team going down. There's about 4 of us going to Charleston for a day training. We've talked a lot about the Third Grade Success Act over the last 2.5 years. The Unite for Numeracy is kind of coming up in the rear now, and now that's going to be kind of a push to bring the math along as well. And so we have a meeting next week. 4 of us are going down to that, and we'll spend a day down there getting some training from the State Department on Unite for Numeracy. That's all I have.
Okay. Superintendent's update.
Well, the main thing on updates, we got policies to look at the next board meeting, and those policies will just be out on comment for a while, but a lot of those policies are in conjunction with recently passed legislation. I guess the biggest policy we'll have to look at, and Mrs. Hebner's working on it with some of her staff to bring some suggestions back, would be the cell phone policy at the middle high school, and it's a pretty comprehensive policy that we really need to review.
That's the state, that's coming from the state?
The state requires each county board of education to have a policy, yes.
So it's not a blanket from the,
It's not a blanket policy, no. There's some options there for us.
that'd been too easy for the state just to make a blanket policy. Okay. And
That's it.
conference meeting update?
I have none between now and next Tuesday.
All right. The next meeting, the Board of Education will be at 4:30 here Tuesday, June 10th, prior to the retirement recognition dinner down at Franklin Elementary. So we adjourn before we do that?
No.
We have to go do our evaluation.
No, I would recommend we go into executive session based on West Virginia Code 18.4-6D, which states the evaluation of a county superintendent shall occur in executive session.
Superintendents recommend we go to executive session to do the evaluations. I have a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye. Opposed, likewise. Motion carried. We'll go to executive session.
We are back live.
All right, we will have, I'll entertain a motion to come out executive session.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? We are now out of executive session, finishing up with the superintendent's evaluation. And we will say that after the superintendent's evaluation, we feel the superintendent has met or exceeded all the goals that we have put forward this year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Second. A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. We are adjourned.